Welcome to Brokermint training. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good. All right. So I'm just going to start at the beginning of creating a transaction and how you determine what type it is and the different settings. So when you first get started and you're on your dashboard, you'll see your different transactions and you'll see the create transaction button. So once you go and hit that transaction button, you're going to be creating a new transaction and we need to know what type it is. The default is consultation. Consultation is when you're working with a new buyer. If you hit the little drop down arrow, you have consultation. So you're starting to work with a buyer, a listing. Purchase is the status we change consultation to once you have a ratified contract. So you're not going to start out with purchase with a buyer. You're going to start with consultation. Property management is only for property managers. Outgoing referral, that's when you're sending a referral to an agent outside of our office and they're going to send us a referral fee for you. Finder's fee is for rentals. And those are a little different, so I will try to touch on those. Commercial is just for commercial agents. Training, if you are learning Brokermint and you want to work on a file to see how it works, working with your mentor, just name it as training so we know that it's not a real transaction that you're working on. All right, and then the status is where it's at. In Brokermint, listing means active. It's still working. It's not under contract. It's just an active file. Pre-listing, if you had selected you were doing a listing, instead of it being listing transaction and listing status, you want the status to be pre-listing. This is when you're getting all your forms together, getting your data, getting your photos. And then once you submit it and it becomes a listing that is active in the MLS, then it is changed to the status of listing. Once you have a ratified contract, the file goes to pending. And then once it's closed out and the commission has been paid to you, I close it. That's not one of the choices here. So to get started, would you rather me show you creating a listing or working with a new buyer?
Either one.
I say buyer.
Buyer's the one that most people end up doing first for some reason. So it will be consultation and listing is the status. Since you do not have an address when you start working with a buyer, just simply put in a name or something that you would associate with it. So if their last name is Jones, you can just put Jones, or you could put buyer Jones. Because when you actually have a ratified contract, we are going to put that address in here. Then the rest of the fields, since they do not apply right now, that are shaded pink, but they are required, you have to put something in there in order to move forward. So if it's data, you can just put a period. If it's money, you can put a 0 for money. All right. And then if it's not shaded in the pink color, it's not required. You do not need to put anything there. You do have to hit the additional fields button. And then when you come down here, it's going to want to know, is there a referral / split on this transaction? There's a drop down. No, if you're not splitting or working with a mentor, then it's no. Yes, if it's in-office referral, you're working with another agent, you all are splitting it. You're going to say yes there. Yes, if you're working with a mentor at a 50-50 split. If you've received a referral from a referral agent in our company, Tomahawk, then you're going to answer yes here. If it's an out-of-office referral, meaning that when I do that commission, I'm going to take a portion of it and send it out to the other company. If it's an op city or an OJO, that would be a yes. And if you're part of UHG, that would be yes there. If you ever run into a situation where maybe it's a op city referral and you're working with a mentor, pick the op city. But as I show you the different checklists, you'll add the checklist for the mentor. All right, so I'm just going to say no on this one. You don't know the listing firm or the MLS number when you first start working with a buyer. So you just simply kind of come in here and get past these pink fields. And anything you know, the information, you can surely just put that in. All right. And then when you get to commission basis, this is going to start as 0. I'll explain a little more on that when you get into changing it over to a contract. And then yes or no if it's North Carolina. And I'm going to say no on this one and do next. Now it's wanting to know agents and commissions. We only record money for our side of the transaction. So normally I would just leave this blank because you don't know if it's going to be 3%, 2.5%, or 2%, but we're just going to do 3 because this is a field that can be edited and changed. So normally they're going to pay 3%. We are not on the listing side. We don't know who's on the listing side. We are representing the buyer. So you would click that Coastal Town Realty is representing the buyer, and we're expecting 3%. All right. So even when you actually know who the listing firm is and later add that, it's always going to be 0. We do not receive their money. All right. Then agents and commissions, you're going to come over here and you're going to add agent. And you're going to add yourself. All right. And then where it has here commission plans, whatever commission plans are allowable or assigned to you, you should have 80/20. Is going to be right here. The owner 100% is only used for an approved personal purchase or sale that has to be pre-approved by Thomasina, or once you've capped and you're at 100%. So you're always going to make sure that you have your correct commission plan. And you're going to hit save. So now it has you here, and it's showing that I'm not splitting this commission. There's just me and I'm getting 100% of it. If I am working with another agent in our office or say a mentor, then I would come here and I would hit add agent. And let's say I'm going to be splitting this one with Blake. All right, see, commission plan for Blake is 80/20. It defaults to the regular one. I'm going to hit save. Now it's going to come here and I'm going to show that Blake and I are splitting this one 50/50. All right, this is how we're splitting prior to splitting with the company. And then you're going to hit next. Now it's going to come to the different roles that are automatically assigned to every transaction. All right, so it's got Carla Cockrell as the business office manager, Lucy as your compliance broker, Thomasina as your team leader, Cindy as your broker, office administrator, which is Blake, and then Thomasina as the managing broker. All right, so then I would need to add my buyer. So you come down here and you're going to add a buyer. And I'm just going to pick Mickey Mouse because it's one that I created a long time ago. All right, so once you create your buyer and you add your buyer, add contact, buyer's agent. This is who's going to be signing documents. And since I'm actually the buyer's agent, I'll be the one signing the documents. And Blake is not, so I don't need to add him. So create. All right, so here's my transaction. All the information in this gray box here can be edited and changed as the transaction changes, simply by hitting the edit button. Brings it all back up You can change the type of transaction it is. You can change the name. You know, all the different fields here. Everything here can all be changed. All right, so then your first step getting started is to add your checklist. With a new buyer, you need a buyer consult represented. And you just hit add. All right, when you first start working with a buyer, they need to sign all of our documents that we're representing them and our disclosures, and it needs to be turned in right away. You don't hold it and wait until you have a contract. All right, so once you add this checklist, then you come right here, signing packet, and you simply hit use forms. It's going to pull up our template that already has the documents that we are expecting to have completed and signed. And you're going to hit next. It has Mickey Mouse as the buyer. Here's a buyer's agent. I don't need an additional buyer's agent. And I do not have a second buyer. So I can simply delete those fields there. When you are going to send documents to be signed, you may want to do a signing order. With that, you can decide who's signing in what order. Really helpful with multiple sellers and buyers. Some are more quick to sign than others. And this way it moves it along a little quicker. And then you hit next. Now it's going to bring up the document, and most of the fields usually autofill. If they don't and it's pink here, you just simply click twice so it changes from the pink to the white on fill now, and you can simply I can't spell Mickey Mouse today. Mickey Mouse. Okay, and you simply type in the information and then go on to your next fields. We are having some of our documents, newer ones for 2023 set up, so some fields may not automatically work. Then you could come down here and it wants to know, when does this end? Are you representing them for 3 months, 6 months, and so on? So you're simply going to put in a date. So I'm going to say July 1, 2023. Just keep in mind, depending on what type of buyer you have and what they're looking for, some take longer to find that particular property. If you do a short date, then you have to keep doing a new document or extending that date. So go as long as you think they would be comfortable going. All right. And then you're just going to verify that it has an initial assigned to each person. Initial boxes always say AB. They are not their initials, and they're color coded. So every one of these boxes that is this goldy color is for buyer 1. If I had a buyer 2, there would be a box here and it would be a different color. All right, so you just simply kind of scroll down through the documents, make sure that all the fields that need to be completed are there. All right, here you're going to ask your buyer if they are licensed in the state of Virginia or not, and you need to mark that box. So mine is not. So I'm simply going to put an X there, that they are not licensed. All right, and you're going to scroll down, initials. Now everything here is assigned to this buyer to complete when I send it for signature. They're going to sign it. It's going to ask for their name, their phone number, email, and their home address. If you have this information and want to save them time, you can simply change the box to a fill now, and you can type in their name for them. In that instance, they're only needing to sign an initial. And then you can just go down and do the same thing and change it to fill now. If you have the information, it does make it a little easier for them. And there I could come along and type all those in. Now it's here with the buyer's agent, which is me, and that's the bluey color. So this is where I'm going to be signing the document, And for some reason, like I said, they're working on our forms. This should be a box, a signature box. And I'm not sure that it is. It's looking like a text box. So if you find something that looks off and is not correct, you can simply edit it. So I'm going to remove that box. I just hit the little trash can, and I'm going to add a signature box here. And then I'm going to assign it to myself. There we go. Now, I know it's the signature box. It has the leaf and says signature. License number, if I leave it assigned to me, then when it's my turn to sign the document, it's going to prompt me to type that number in. But if you already know the number, have the number, which you should on your little laminated pocket license, go ahead and change it and fill it all in now. All right. So then you just continue on. Now you're going to get to some disclosures, initials. I'm just going to kind of scroll through here a little bit. Then it's going to down here, right? Signature of the licensee is missing. So I'm going to put one here. Important thing to remember when you're dealing with these icons up here is when you click on it and it stays red, everywhere you click, it's going to put a signature box. So when you no longer need that item, you click it again to turn it off. All right, so that's set up for me. Here's their signature, their name's already there. Continue on. See, you'll see here, they're just signing. All right, purchase of. When you get to this title ABA, it is a disclosure of our relationship between Tomahawk Title and Jones Walker and Lake. We have to disclose that if they end up using them. Since you do not have a particular property, you're simply going to make it to be determined. So this covers any property that they end up purchasing, and then turn that box off. All right, it's missed the buyer's signature here, so I'm going to add it. Escrow agency. This lets them know that we do not hold escrow. We never hold escrow on a transaction. We don't have an escrow account. Jones Walker and Lake, or whoever is handling the closing for that person, for your buyer. This is pre-filled with the information for Jones Walker and Lake. They are our preferred attorneys for closings. If your buyer is adamant of using someone else, you simply double click and change the information. Company name, the contact of the person that you will be dealing with at that company, and the phone number. Signatures there. Cyber notice. Signatures are all set up. Lead pamphlet. They may or may not purchase a lead property, but we have to get this just in case, and all they have to do is sign here. Once you get here to this signature, that is the last of the forms. Then you can either, if you are missing something and you have to gather some information and come back, you would hit save and close. And that just kind of saves your progress of where you're at on that packet. And you'll see it right here. And you'll see the document down here on the right. To go back and pick up again and complete it, you just hit the edit e-sign again. It's going to come up, show you the people. You're going to hit next. It's going to bring up all the documents. So you can go to that one place where you were missing something and add it in. And then once it's ready to go, you just hit the little drop down on the right and hit send for e-signature. It's going to come up and it's going to show you the order that it's sending them. And this is a generic message that tells them that I've requested them to sign documents for this transaction. And then you simply hit send. All right, I'm not going to hit the send because I'm not sending that to Mickey Mouse at Yahoo. Once it's here, the status of it being sent will be here. All right. Once the document is completely signed and it changes and says signed here, it's time to turn it in, but you cannot turn it in as one packet. We need the individual documents split and put in their individual places before you submit it to Lucy. And the way you do this is you highlight on it so it's in pink, and you come over to the right and you look for the unassigned button. This button does not delete, it just takes it from that spot and moves it to the unsorted. So you just click that, you'll see that it's gone, and that's available to use again. Go over on the black bar on the left-hand side down to documents, click the word documents, and click the word unsorted. This is where your listing packet is. All right, so you're going to click so it's highlighted in pink. You're going to go over to the right and you're going to hit the drop down on the edit button and you're going to hit split. Once it loads all the documents, then you're going to see the documents here, and they're numbered by pages. We have 1 through 38. Once it's signed, you would actually have 39, but don't worry about that. All right, so our first document is our brokerage agreement, and it's pages 1 to 5. So you're going to do 1 to 5 and look at the name. I usually start exclusive right. Just start slowly typing the letters, and once it pops up, you just simply click the document. Now, when it splits it, it knows where to put it. All right, so then I need to go to page 6 to see what my next document is. If you scroll down, you'll see how many pages, and you'll see that it's the Consumer Disclosure, or CDIF. So that's page 6, and it's 7 pages. So 6. If you go down, you'll get to like the last page. All right, so it was 6 to 12. And that's CDIF, Consumer Disclosure. Now I go to page 13. This is my Summary of Rights, or Chapter 7, and that is 3 pages. So that's 13 to 15. Summary of Rights, we'll find that one. 16 is my ABA. That is a 1 page. So that is page 16 to 16, because when you go to 17, you have a new one. And if you type ABA, it'll pop up. All right, next one is my cyber or escrow agency, and that is a 1 page. Then I have the cyber. Cyber, all right. Now I have the lead, and I've run out of places here, so I simply add a line. My lead is 19 to 38. Lead pamphlet. Now, all of them are accounted for. The red split button is here. You simply hit the button. The original packet is still here. So if you ever get off and you missplit something, you can go back and get that. Go back on the black bar on the left-hand side to your buyer consult checklist. And now you will see that all these documents here have little lines through them, placeholders. And when you click on it, you will see that the document has been uploaded in that spot. So once you've completed that part of it, obviously, if they're a corporation, you'll need to upload those documents for them individually. You need to upload their proof of funds or pre-qual letter here. And then once you have them there, you're going to submit them for review. You go to the red action button, hit the drop down, submit for review. It says 7. When you click here, it says you are about to submit this transaction for review, and then you hit confirm. Once you've done that, you'll see all of these say pending approval. Lucy's going to go through all of these documents. So you'll need to come back and check to see that they are approved. If any of them are rejected, it'll say rejected. It'll be in pinky red color, and you'll look over here on the comment, and she will tell you what needs to be done in order to bring this document in compliance. All right. Any questions so far?
No.
Okay. All right. So then your next step is you're going to start writing offers. Hopefully they find something they like quickly. So you're going to be adding a new checklist. Next checklist is going to be purchase general. So we're going to come down here, purchase general. All right. And you're just simply going to hit add. Again, once you add this checklist, you're going to see a contract packet. All right. The packets have the regular forms that you're normally going to have. Hit the use form button. It's going to have your purchase agreement, your pickup, or your property inspection contingency, brokerage fee notice. A lot of times you will get that from the other agent. So if you have received it, then you can simply take it off this packet. All right. You're going to need to attach a document here. And when you click here, it's going to go and look for a document that you've saved on your computer. And the documents you should have already downloaded from the listing and saved on your computer are the DPOR, the ACUs, the lead, or any other document that they've uploaded that needs your buyer's signatures. All right. So I'm not going to add one here. I'm just going to cancel out. If there is a specific RAIN form that you're going to be adding on this particular transaction, then you would simply hit add more forms when you want to pull in a form. Make sure you're on the Coastal Town Realty Library, and then just hit this little hourglass. And let's say you needed to add a buyer possession before closing or something like that. All right. Somehow I only want it to be a RAIN form. Let me try that. Okay, go to RAIN. Because we have North Carolina and buyer. I don't know, they're putting them together. Let's see what we can find. Buyer possession agreement. If you click on the name of the document, it's going to bring it up to the right and you can see the document and determine if that is the correct document. All right. And I'm just going to pick this one for right now to show you. All you do is put a checkbox and then hit select. And then you'll see here it's added the form. If you don't need it, you take it off. Then you hit next. Again, it wants to know who are the people that are going to be on this document and signing this document. All right. Buyer's agent. I only have one buyer, so I take them off. We are not going to be having the listing agent or the sellers sign the document. We're simply going to be completing this offer and having our buyer and ourselves sign this document, and then we're going to be emailing it over to the other agent. Okay. Okay, and then you're going to hit next. Then you're to your documents where you're going to come in and you're going to start filling in the current date of the agreement. It's going to pop up a calendar. I'm going to put in, you're going to make sure it has the buyer's information, our company, our MLS ID number, 9274. The other firm, the listing firm, their ID number, the property address and the legal description, and so on. Deposit. When you're doing the EMD, make sure you're filling out the money amount and the written out amount, and then how are they paying it? All right. A lot of settlement companies and attorneys have an app that they can pay, which is an automated clearinghouse, or ACH. It's a draft from the bank account. So check which one they are doing and who it is going to. If you're using Jones, Walker, and Lake, it's being paid to Jones, Walker, and Lake. It's not being paid to Susan Walker. All right, so always the name of the company, not the agent or the attorney that you're working with, whatever the name of the firm is that that check payment is being paid to. And make sure you put down whether or not they've already paid it or if they will be paying it within 2 business days of ratification, and make sure that you remind them to do that. And then you're going to simply fill in all the particulars of the contract and all the disclosures, anything you would have added, like a DPOR or a lead, you are going to have to add those check boxes. They're not going to be there. So on that particular form, you're going to have to come in and add your text boxes where they need to go, initials and signatures where they need to go. All right. And then same thing here, if you're filling this out, because the listing says 3%, you're going to put in your 3%, put in the listing firm information, and you can send it along with your packet. Again, once you've finished everything, you're going to send for signature, and it is now an offer. We do not need to split this. We do not need to submit it for review because it is an offer. Best practice to keep things clean and tidy is once you have done that and sent it as an offer, is to just simply unassign it, put it in your unsorted documents, and rename it. So if I have a contract packet here and I want to come over here and hit edit, and I want to hit rename, and this offer is for 123 Beach Street. Okay, now I know that's the offer that I've sent over to the other agent for 123 Beach Street. If they send it back ratified, wonderful. You're going to put it here in the unsorted documents, simply add, upload the file. And then you're going to go through the split process, just like we did for the signing packet. If they do a counter, you're going to upload it here, name it counter offer. And then if it's a counter offer, you can simply click on that document, hit the E sign, come in here, and make the changes or add the initials that they need to do. So if they've countered back on the price or whatever, and all you have to do is now add an initial box next to that change, you're simply going to add those there. Maybe it was something here for settlement expenses and they changed it or whatever. So you're just simply going to come along here and put in an initial box. All right. Then once you've made all the changes, you're going to send it for signature.
I might have taken it home.
Once they've signed it, then you're going to send that counter offer to the other agent. And again, when you get the ratified back, it goes here. So you could potentially have offer 123 Beach Street,
Hopefully not.
counter offer 123 Beach Street, and ratified contract. Or you could have offer 123 Beach Street, offer 789 Ocean Avenue. You might have 2 or 3 offers here. But when you get to the ratified contract, that's the one that you will split so that it goes in all of these fields here. Make sure you upload a copy of the EMD and the lender letter, the tax report that you're going to pull from the MLS. And you should have a MLS printout. Do they still have it on here? Yes, MLS printout from showing of offer. Always download a copy of that MLS printout prior to writing that offer. Just save it on your computer. You're only going to upload the one here that is for the ratified contract. That shows everything that was disclosed in that listing at the time you wrote the offer. What the commission was, what the price was, what appliances were listed as conveying. So if it says the washer and dryer included, and you go to do your walkthrough and there's no washer and dryer, or they go to move in, there's no washer and dryer, somebody owes your buyers a washer and dryer, and it's not you. All right, so always upload that copy in there. All right, then we're gonna, once you upload everything and you submit it, goes to Lucy again, compliance, we start taking our part. Next step now is you have inspections and different things that you need to do for this purchase. So you're simply going to hit add, come over to checklist. And next thing you need to do is your PICRA contingency due diligence. Simply going to add that. And as you go along and you start working and you're doing your home inspections, you're getting your termite report, you're going to upload those documents here. Here is the PICRA, property inspection contingency removal. Same thing, use the form, complete it, send it off to get signed. Once you've sent it off to get signed, you're going to need to get the one back ratified. Again, you would just simply move this form to the unsorted and put the correct one here. If you negotiate on the PICRA, we don't know what is in the PICRA. So if in the PICRA you're changing the price, we need to know. So when you submit this, you also need to give us a heads up, a message, a text message that that purchase price has changed. So let's say your contract was for $325, but on the PICRA you are dropping the price to $320 because of some of the things that they're not going to fix, those that are changing the price. Besides letting us know, you always have to go here to the edit and change this price. This price should always be the current purchase price for this contract. If you find after the home inspection and everything, and your buyers decide that they want to release that contract, you come down here to your contract release or termination, get it signed, submit it for review, and then we void out this transaction. If there is a HOA, POA, you're going to have to add those checklists. So let's say this one has a property owners association. Here's all your documents here. We do have to have the receipt for the package. We have to track when these contingencies are removed and when this transaction should be pending in the MLS. So always upload all your documents, always submit them. That tracks that for us. The last checklist that would normally go on here is going to be the closing checklist. This is the final checklist. The items that you're going to be doing is you're going to make sure that you've submitted all your documents for final approval. You just simply check off. Just a reminder, good time to, when you're getting close and you're getting ready to do your walkthrough, the CV's coming, go back through your previous checklist and make sure that everything has been submitted and approved. Anything rejected needs to be corrected. Are your tasks complete and documents provided? Are there complete contact records for all parties? Walkthrough. We require a walkthrough for every buyer. If they decide they don't want to do one, you need to put that they've waived it on the form and have them sign it. Once you have your walkthrough and it's signed, you need to send it to the listing agent asking if they will have their seller sign it and send the copy back. If you've done that and they do not, you must put a comment over here to Lucy letting her know that I sent it to the listing agent, put the date or whatever, and asked for signatures and you've not received it back. If you do receive it back, you're simply going to switch out the one that only has your buyer's signatures with the final one here, and then it's ready to be submitted. You should be getting a copy of the CD or pre-closing disclosure that shows all the different fees, the sales price, the commission that you're supposed to be receiving, and the firm admin fee of $450. You need to make sure that these are on there. That's your responsibility. Be sure that they have that information correctly. If the $450 admin fee is not allowed by the lender, you need an email that is not allowed by the lender. And you simply upload that email in this section here, letting us know that the buyer could not pay the $450 admin fee. It was not allowed by the lender. In that case, it is waived. If the buyer does not pay the $450 admin fee and it was allowed by the lender, it was simply left off the CD, forgotten, it becomes your responsibility as the agent. And we don't want to have to charge you that. So always get an email from the lender settlement company. You would simply hit add task. Name it whatever, long as I can figure out what it is, assign it to yourself, requires a document, and hit save. Now it's right here, and I will see it in real and know that we're not getting that admin fee because the lender didn't allow it, and that you're not going to be responsible to cover that for them. Is this transaction complete and clear to pay? This is for Lucy to check off. Do not check this off. Lucy will write comments here once we ask her to review the file if it's clear to pay. The way to do this, and you want to do it several days before closing so that this is already here and ready to go. You go on the black bar on the left-hand side to users and contacts, look for the red action button, send email, click on the name and click Lucy. Go down here to use template, agent checking for clear to pay, the second one. If you click there, it automatically fills in all the information that Lucy needs to know to go and check this particular transaction. All right. Anyway, it'll pop in and put your information in here, and then you simply hit the send button. If you don't do that, then what happens is I receive the commission and then I have to message Lucy. I have to wait for her to get a chance to review your file to let me know if you're cleared to pay. If you're not, then we have to wait for you to fix those items before I can pay you. And it can delay you receiving your commission payment by a day or several days, and we don't want that. We want to get you your money as soon as possible. So always message her, try to have it clear to pay before that comes in. Here's where a copy of the final closing statement goes. We'll put in a copy of the MLS sold, and here's where the DA is that shows the commission that came in, how it's split, and how much you're getting. And that will come to you, an email link for you to sign it. Once you've signed it and you're cleared to pay, then we automatically send out your commission payment by ACH or Zelle to your bank account. All right, any questions?
No,
No.
not yet.
All right. All right, so that's the simple process, going through the transaction, working with the buyer, doing the purchase. And then once it's done, it's closed. And then we would close it and then you continue on. So then you'll see here, I have the different transactions here. If you want to do a transaction for a listing, you're simply going to do listing, pre-listing, the property address, all right. All right. And then you're just going to continue on with the rest of the information. I'm not going to put it all in just to save time and get through. You are going to put the listing date, the date that you want this listing to start. So I want it to start on Friday. We put down the expiration date is April 30. There is no acceptance date. There is no closing date. And then I'm simply going to fill in the rest of the information that is required. Firm, that's our ID number. The MLS number you're not going to have until the listing is active, so you can come back and add that in. Legal description, parcel ID. You don't have escrow or selling firm. Commission basis is going to be a 0. This is a money amount, and that's depends on the actual sales price. It's not North Carolina. On this side, It is a percentage. It's still 3%, but we are on the listing side. Okay, save. And then again, you're going to add the agent. All right. And save. All right. And I'm not splitting this one. So you're going to come in here and you're going to have the different people. All right. Seller is Minnie Mouse. And here's the rest of the people as party to the transaction. All right. Then you're just going to simply start adding your checklist. And this one is going to be listing residential. Again, you're going to use the listing packet, split the documents, and get them submitted for review so that we can get the listing in. We have 1 business day to get a listing active on the listing date. So you need to have your dates in order. You can actually do the paperwork today. They can sign it today with the listing start date of Friday. All right. You don't want to start it Friday morning, wanting your listing to go in Friday and be able to get everything all done, signed, submitted, and approved, and in the MLS. You need a little more time than that. Then once you start receiving offers, I would put the offers in your unsorted here. That way you can set them up for e-signature for your seller, do any counters, and house them in here and not split until you have the ratified contract. When you have a ratified contract, you're going to add the checklist, and it's going to be listing under contract. Okay, not a purchase, listing under contract. All right, acceptance date is the ratification date, and purchase offer date is the date on the top right of the contract that they did that. Then you're simply going to split, put all the documents here. As you're going through, again, you're still going to need to pull in your PICRA, due diligence, your POA if they have it, or if it's a condo, purchase condo. So you have those different checklists as you go through those stages of the contract. And then you'll follow up. This is one I usually add once I'm getting the contract in my systems. Same thing as everything here. You're going to now be on the seller side. So you're going to ask the buyer's agent for a copy of the walkthrough. Put your comment over here if you've asked for it and they did not provide it, or they said we're not doing one, whatever. Always communicate with them by text or email so you have something in writing that you can always produce to prove that you've asked for it. If you do get it, have your seller sign it and put the complete copy here to submit to Lucy. And that was a quick version on that one. Any questions?
No.
All right. Okay, so let me go back. I'm going to do one more thing here. If you're doing an outgoing referral or a finder's fee, on each of those, just make sure you don't put any dates or prices. All right. We don't know what the people are going to buy and what the money is. And the only amount of money I track is what we receive. They might buy a $350,000 house, but if we only receive a $2,000 commission, that's the amount that we're going to be adding in here. Rental finder's fees, same thing. Once you know the property that they have rented, because you might show them several properties, do a showing disclosure. Once you know that rental, make sure that address is in here for that rental. And the only thing that I need for the price is how much is that finder's fee? Are they supposed to be paying you $150, $200, whatever the amount is? So you can look at, if they say they're giving you 10% 10% of the first month's rent, then calculate that up. That's the amount that goes there, but never put a closing date. Rental finders fees can take a month to 2 months for us to get from the time they've signed that lease. It all depends on when they move in, paid their first month rent, and when that particular firm brokerage is processing those rental fees. So do not put any closing dates. They always stay as listing. They are not pending. All right. Referrals and finders fees are never pending. It's active until we receive the money, and then it's processed and closed out in that same day. All right. Any questions?
No.
No? Okay. It's a lot to take in at one time. You all are always welcome to come up to the office. Give me a heads up you're coming to work on a project in Brokermint. I'm happy to help you get the transaction started, the checklist that you need, and the documents that you need pulled in. As far as completing them, I cannot assist you with filling in the documents and what goes where. So if you need assistance on that, make sure that you reach out to your mentor. If you feel like you maybe don't have a mentor but could use one, then please speak up and we're happy to help connect you with one. Any questions on what goes where, verbiage of how you're writing that? You're going to reach out to Lucy first. She is your first contact with broker questions. Make sure you have her as a contact in your phone and text her a message of what it is you need. A lot of times we're doing trainings, we're on the phone with another agent, but we can read our text message. And then she has the opportunity to go in and research and have the information ready when she returns that call to you. All right, and that's all I have.
How often are you doing these?
I do online Zoom training once a month for Brokermint. Okay. And I switched it up. So, next month will probably be a little more advanced things. So, to kind of alternate it. But I'm generally at the office Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. So, I do have quite a few agents that they'll be working on different things. I had one, and splitting the documents was the one thing that she just didn't quite grasp. So she came here and we did it together.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's always an option. Like I said, we can help you a lot. We just can't sit there with you and say, okay, here this is what you need to write, asking for closing costs. And this is what you need here. We can't help you that way, but we can help you to create the transaction, pull in the checklist, to get to the part of filling out the documents. And at that point, it's between you going to Lucy or a mentor if you're working with a mentor.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Carla.
You're very welcome. You all have a nice day.
Thanks, you too.
You too. Thank you.
Uh-huh.